Milwaukee
Or
Road.
like no one's liked their Bachelor
Right.
literally since me. And I was polarizing.
Nick Viall says no one has been excited to be the Bachelor since him. Insiders say Christina Mandrell may have had a drinking problem. And what's going on with Rachel and Zach and all the back and forth? Hello, everybody, and welcome back to our channel. Here at Shared News, we're going to be breaking down the biggest Bachelor headlines of the week. So happy Friday. I'm back with my girls, Kayla G, Kayla T. How are you ladies doing today? Kayla G, why don't you start?
Pretty good. I'm ready to get into this Bachelor drama.
Kayla T?
Yeah, I mean, it's been a good week. Bachelor's been a little slow, but there's some interesting stuff going on, so I'm excited to dive in.
Yeah, these are the biggest stories of the week, so we're going to break them all down, so be sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe if you have not already. Number one headline is that Nick Viall, former Bachelor, says no one has been excited to have a Bachelor since him. Kayla G, I know you watch all the podcasts. Did you catch this clip?
I did. And whether it's true or not, I think it's such a Nick Viall thing to say about himself. So it kind of gave me like a chuckle. But for me personally, it made me go back and think my reactions every time I heard about the new Bachelors. And I think Nick Viall was last time I was like really pumped for the season. I don't know. What do you guys think?
I have the list of like all the Bachelors. So I'm going to make sure I'll remind you guys. But basically what Nick said is that since the show has gone down the past few years, no one has been excited to have a Bachelor since his season. And then when his co-hosts, our girl Allison, questioned him and said people loved Matt James, Nick responded that people were only fans of Matt through Tyler. And Nick also says that he was very polarizing. Kayla, I'm going to put you to the test. Kayla T.
Okay.
Please.
Oh, Kayla T, sorry. Two Kaylas.
Who was the last? Yeah, Kayla T. Who was the last? Can you name all the Bachelors up until it was Nick without looking at
Up
the
until it was
script or
Nick
Google?
or after Nick? No.
After Nick.
Okay, after Nick. Okay.
Try.
Okay, so after
Starting now.
Nick.
No, you can start from
was-
now and go backwards.
Start from now and go backwards. Okay. Here we go. Zach.
You got this.
Then before was Clayton.
Mhm.
Then before was Matt. Then before was
Correct.
Pilot Pete.
Yep.
And then before
more.
Pilot Pete was Ari. No.
Switch it.
Jeez.
You got
Nick,
this.
then Ari.
No. Before Peter, it was
Oh my gosh, guys.
him and I have something. Him and I have something in common.
You have something in Colton?
Oh,
Yes.
Yes, I got it right.
And before
Then Ari.
and before Colton.
And then Nick.
Correct. And then before that, Kayla G, you're the longtime Bachelor fan. Can you go before that?
geez.
Try.
Yeah.
For Nick. Okay, the blah, blah, blah.
You know who it was.
Oh,
Right before Nick?
do I?
Yeah,
Oh,
like
this
the most
is too
lovable
far.
Bachelor
Ben?
besides Sean Lowe.
The most-
Ben, yes, Ben.
Ben. Okay, all right, it
Oh,
was Ben.
Oh my goodness.
Because you remember Ben
Yeah, because it was
dated
Caitlyn and
JoJo.
then yeah.
Yeah, Ben dated
Right.
JoJo. JoJo was the Bachelorette, and then
Right.
who became the Bachelor after JoJo?
Ben. Oh, wait,
I
no,
think
that was Caitlyn.
It was
Oh.
Nick. No.
Who was Joe's? It was not Robbie.
No,
it wasn't
we were
Chase. It wasn't
struggling.
Jordan.
It
Luke.
was not Robbie.
It wasn't anyone's
Ari.
favorite
Like
season.
No, it was Ari. It was Ari because they
it was
brought in Ari
Ari.
from out
It
of
was
left
Ari.
field. Yeah,
Yes.
because
Yep.
JoJo had a bunch of like, not F boys, but she didn't have anyone that was
Little.
worthy enough to be the Bachelor from her season, so they brought back Ari. Okay, well, basically, this is what Nick said.
test.
So we have Zach. This is my opinion. Zach, not excited, right? Like, Nick has a point so far. Clayton, I like Clayton now. Was I excited at the time? No. I was like, who is this? Matt, I was excited, but I guess that's not fair because he wasn't a part of the Bachelorette before, so we'll count him out. But I was totally here for Matt. Peter, come on. No, absolutely not. I mean, of course, Peter's fine, right? But like, I get what Nick is saying, right? As iconic Bachelors, but Peter gave a great season. Before that, Colton, I mean, it was kind of hard to be excited about Colton too, because he just had all that drama with Tia and Becca. And then Ari came out of left field. So I am not a Nick apologist, but technically speaking, just because the internet ragged on him, technically speaking, he has a point.
Yeah.
They always
I
do.
think he has a point, and I think the only reason why the internet is ragging on him is because he said it was him. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
some people
you
are
can't
like,
say it
oh,
about
of course
yourself.
Nick is going to say it's me. You know, yeah. So that kind of ruins
'Cause
it,
that's
but
what
he's
he would
not
do.
wrong. And I would agree with you. I would agree with you, Zach. I think the only other person I was excited for was Matt, but it was just like, well, finally, like a black guy. But like,
Of
other
course.
than that, it's like, it's true. It's like Nick was
Kayla G, do
interesting.
you
It
agree?
piqued our interest.
I do. Like, I had a little bit of excitement for Matt James, but he's right, because of the Tyler Cameron connection and the Quarantine Crew, obviously, and Hannah Brown and that whole time in history, which should just be in history books. But yes, I 100% agree. The last time I was super excited was Nick Viall, and he gave us a pretty good season. Got Rachel Lindsay. We got
Who else? Vanessa, Raven, Corinne. We got a
Tia?
few girls from that season.
Raven and Tia. I always mix up.
True that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Raven.
So I think the moral of the story is Nick has a point, but he can't say it about himself because that's just what makes him like unlikable. I think to a lot of Bachelor Nation. But Nick is just like he's just in his ways. I feel like Nick is just the way that he is, and you'll never be able to change him. So you just kind of have to just like, all right, that's just another Nick thing.
Take
That's
him or
kind of
leave
how
him.
I take it. Yeah.
Same.
Let's move on to our next topic. Did Christina Mandrell really have a drinking problem? Kayla T, you asked me before how I felt before we started about how I felt. I was devastated that Christina went home. She was the only girl that I actually liked. She was my favorite. Like, she was my winner pick. She
was your,
she just
Zach,
she is
she was
the
your
queen.
winner pick.
No, not really,
You're
but
hilarious.
she was just like the only girl that was kept me connected to the season. And now that she's gone,
know what to
I'm
do.
like not even, and Brianna's gone, who I was second invested in, and even Bailey. I feel like I just don't know. Like, I was
Wow.
trying to get invested into this season, and I felt like we took one step forward and 3 steps back by Christina Mandrell going home. That's how I felt.
Wow. I get you. I mean, honestly, to your point, her going home super quick like that was like shocking because she was such a front runner. And we kind of talked about it on Shared. It's like we lost like 3 potential front runners in one episode with Christina, Brianna, and Bailey, who we thought would all have kind of a leg up having met him before. But yeah, I mean, Christina, this whole Christina thing, I can't wait to dive into this because this is fascinating.
Okay, well then let me give you the tea because many fans were devastated and
Please.
shocked that she had an exit this week. I feel like I literally I'm like, many fans were devastated. Hi, I literally wrote this. I was devastated.
Right.
Many fans. I'm dead. Okay, the Bachelor fans were mostly confused because she had a one-on-one date with Zach, met his family. That's what the show wrote. So why did he send her home after some drama? Well, The Sun came out with an article this week that Christina was actually sent home because she may have had a drinking problem unsaid. Reportedly, she was getting wild in the mansion and was drunk. She tried to kiss other girls in the house and flirt with other girls. The insiders are also claiming that she was so difficult to be around, they had to convince Zach to take her on a one-on-one date. Now, some fans think Christina was sent home because Zach also wasn't ready to be a stepdad and that this story could possibly be planted. Kayla G, why don't you start us off? Do we think it's about the other girls? Like, what do you think really happened?
Yeah, I mean, if I want to go down like the rabbit hole of conspiracy theories, there is
We're
one where
doing
like
that today.
because all of us, like you said, Zach, we were so shocked about Christina, and it happened so fast, and she was a fan favorite. So I had a little bit of backlash. So people are saying, okay, what if Bachelor kind of threw this in here to make sense of her leaving more and kind of get the fans more against her, which I think is kind of interesting. And it also maybe makes more sense of why Zach was so quick to send her home. We were thinking he was just like, no nonsense, drama, you're out of here. But maybe, you know, the producers gave him a little nudge.
Maybe they dumbed down the drama on the show. Like, because like you can't imagine this is fake if it's coming from insiders. I feel like stories are always fabricated in the press. And when people write things in articles, but there still has to be somewhat of truth to this. So maybe the show dumbed down her drama, and that's why he sent her home. Because it just didn't make sense because they had that date and he met his family so quick for this petty drama to just like send her home. Kayla T, what do you think?
I would say it's kind of a mix of everything. I think that maybe a flip side of what you just said, Zach, is I think she was maybe drinking a lot. And The Sun, this article, no shade to them, I don't know who wrote this, might have beefed this story up of, oh, she's getting so drunk they had to kick her out. And I doubt that was the case. If that was the case, I think the girls would have kind of tied that in. I don't know, maybe to your point, they could have edited it out, sure. But I think like the girls were genuinely over Christina. She was rubbing them the wrong way, probably since night one. They got over it. And Zach is so no nonsense that he was like, yeah, I'm cutting it off right here and now. But also, I kind of was maybe thinking of sending you home last week anyway, because I'm not really ready to be a dad. So I think it's kind of like, to me, it made
But he
sense.
gave her the rose.
That it made sense that she went home. Yeah, but remember I was like, he shouldn't, because he's probably going to send her home soon anyway. I didn't think it'd be this soon, though. So I was still a little shocked, but to me, I was like, you know what? It's tracking with how Zach's been acting. And again, I feel like if she was that wild, the girls would have also said something to that effect. I don't think anyone's being like, I don't think any of the women in the show are being fake. I think everyone's being pretty real. So that's kind of my take, if that makes sense.
Okay. Well, I can't wait for the Women Tell All. I mean, that's the next time we'll see her on our screen.
Oh, yeah.
I follow her on social. She's really funny.
Same.
Hopefully she'll go to Paradise. Maybe she'll.
Oh,
they're not going to let her speak
for
until
sure.
the tell all, because you know how they always have people on their podcast. It's like always the girls that are like, they always save the villains, quote unquote. So we might not hear from her for a while, but I'm excited to get her side. I'll be patiently waiting if we remember in a month. Let's talk about Rachel and Zach. It's not that they are having beef. It almost just feels like they're closing their beef out, since it's like the beginning of Zach's season. It's like where he came from Rachel. You know, Rachel kind of was bashing on Clayton a little bit. Clayton, you know, was wrong, but, you know, some people think Rachel was wrong. Kayla G, are you a Rachel stan? Because I feel like she's become very polarizing in Bachelor Nation, just because she's so, I think, emotional. I think that's just what has been the disconnect with so many viewers. I think that's what it is.
Yeah, like I appreciate her for her feelings and being able to express those. I do think I am Team Zach, specifically on this issue, because try to think about it. He's doing a press tour on The Bachelor, and he's talking about his journey, and that's basically his job. And we've met him on Rachel's season. So we need to talk about his feelings on it. Just because Rachel maybe doesn't agree or takes it as shade, it is his feelings and they matter. And, you know, people are asking him over and over again about his journey to find love. What is he going to say?
Okay, well, that's
So
fair. Well,
true.
to give the context for Kayla T, basically Zach was talking to Ashley Iaconetti on the Almost Famous podcast, and how he felt Rachel was inauthentic on her season. Something happened in the fantasy suites where Zach felt like he was being interviewed. The vibes changed when she was off camera. She also questioned his age when they were around the same age. And then Rachel heard about these claims from Ashley's podcast. She listens, then she went on Ashley's podcast this past week with Michelle, who also threw a little bit of shade towards Nate. So we can talk about that after if you want.
Please.
But Rachel basically said, to responding to Zach, that we're on Ashley's podcast, that she had stronger feelings for Avid and Tino. And just because things didn't go the way Zach wanted, that doesn't make her inauthentic. There are real things couples talk about on camera that they can't talk about off camera. So that's probably why Zach felt like he was being interviewed, because she was trying to get to know him in that short amount of time she had off camera. So she's just confused why Zach is bringing up all this stuff now when they already made up on After the Final Rose. But to Kayla G's point, he's being asked about it over and over and over again. So Kayla T, where do you come in and weigh in on this issue?
I'm with KG on this. Yeah, I'm Team Zach. I think, you know, Rachel, she likes to make a mountain out of a molehill sometimes. I think, like, she also likes to, she's emotional, and I think that's totally fine. But I think sometimes she's immature and she makes things about her. And when it's like, that's not really yes, he was talking about you, but it's like, she didn't really clear up the point, because she was still inauthentic. If you didn't have strong feelings for Zach, then you should have just said that, but you didn't. You made it about these other things that weren't really the problem. So he's still kind of making his point. So I don't really know what she was trying to say, but you know, I get her being like frustrated that she's being talked about again, but it's The Bachelor, like KG and you just said. It's like, what's he gonna say? He has to talk about his experience on The Bachelorette, and that was such a big part of why he became The Bachelor. So that's kind of how I feel. And honestly, I just wish that Rachel and Michelle would just kind of like move on and not let it bother them. Like, you were the lead, you know what I mean? So like, you broke up with or whatever, like those relationships ended with those guys. Just like, just let it go. And like, why do you care? You know what I mean? I don't know. That's my take.
And can we
I mean,
talk about, oh, sorry, it made me think, Kayla T, that like how much they talked about Clayton on their premiere. Like there was a whole choir.
Exactly.
So let's just remember that.
Yeah.
I'm letting you
let's
guys
have
all
grace.
say it.
Like,
well, I mean, I think like I'm trying to play devil's advocate. I feel like Rachel, it's a little like, it's not jealous. It's just like now Zach is the Bachelor, you know, now it's all about him, you know, like she's used to like having a year, and like her time was like, I know she shared it with Gabby, but it was like a long buildup. And they also like, you know, kind of participated in the Clayton sucks. But it's also like they were set up for that too, and it's the Bachelor. So, you know, I think Rachel is entitled to her feelings, and so is Zach. And I think that this is Zach's season. And I wish that they brought Rachel on the show. No, but do you know they used to do that in the past all the time? Andy went to go visit Nick on his season. Caitlyn, I think, visited Nick, or like everyone was like, sometimes they bring back the exes to visit each other. Hannah Brown visited Peter. They should have brought Rachel back to visit Zach, so they could have closed it out, and then we wouldn't be having these podcast wars months later.
Podcast wars. Such a good way to put it. Totally agree. That would have been cool. Actually, that would have been really interesting to watch, to be honest.
Yeah.
Can we talk about the Nate shade? He dropped that.
Yeah, what did Michelle say about
that?
Nate?
I missed it. Tell me.
Oh my gosh. Well, it was kind of like they both are. They're still both. She was just talking about like, you know, guys on like social media. And like, you know, Ashley was trying to like be like, are you talking about Nate? She was like, no, just like in general. And then it was funny because Nate also may have clapped back at that, because on TikTok, do you remember when Michelle wrote like 1, 2, 3, and 5 look so good?
Yes.
Do you remember that TikTok?
Yes.
I loved it.
Justin, all the boys are together again, and Justin posted a TikTok with all the boys, and then someone commented like, what's the group name? And then Nate replied 1, 2, 3, and 5.
Yes.
That's amazing.
This is why I love The Bachelor, guys. I just love it. It's so messy.
They're throwing the shade
So
is just so
messy.
subliminal. It's like, no, this shade is just like, because I'm like, you know, I get tagged and everything. I listen to these podcasts. Like, this is deep shade. Like, it's not being publicized in like articles.
Yes.
This is no Sun report. But Michelle and Nate, they're throwing shade. Like, if you are paying attention, like
Constantly.
they're both they've been throwing shade at each other for months. It's so minor, but it's all the time.
I love it.
At least Rachel and Clayton are now friends. Who else do we think needs to make friends in the Bachelor franchise? Which exes need to become friends? I think
good question.
I think Gabby and Eric need to become friends.
You know what? I was gonna say Gabby and Jason should become friends again.
Wait, that's
Gabby
what I
and
meant,
Eric probably not.
honestly.
They were literally. Oh, that's what you meant.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gabby and Jason. That would be a cool just reconnection of just we're cool now. And I wish that Caitlyn and Nick weren't like in a weird tiff. Like it seemed like they were good a couple years ago, and now they're like weird again. I don't know what's going on with them, but they're too old for that, in my opinion.
Yeah. And I'd say if like Clayton and Rachel are cool, let's make Gabby and Clayton cool.
Oh my god, that would be insane.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Oh
I
my
love
god,
it.
that'd
It
be
would break the
crazy.
internet
We're
again.
too invested. Why are we too? No, because it breaks the internet when they get together, and it makes all of our days. Like my best days are
It
when
really
they
does.
do something. I swear to God,
Same.
they can do anything. I just need to recap it. Like whatever they need to all just keep mixing and matching. Let's talk about Zach's season, because we do have a little promo here about a potential girl not being there for the right reasons. Her name's Anastasia, we think, allegedly. Let's take a look at the trailer, and I want to hear your thoughts.
This is all just very hearsay, but Anastasia, she's constantly always talking about the amount of Instagram followers that she's going to get while being here, and it's literally like...
That freaks me the out.
As it should.
What do you guys think about this? Not the first time we've seen this storyline before.
Yes. So I think I'm very worried for Anastasia, because whether it's true or not that she's there for the followers, like we saw with Christina, Zach is going to be like, girl, bye.
I have a question for you. Are you really here for me?
So I'm a little worried. And even just for Kylie going in and like, you know, usually the messenger also gets burned. So I'm a little worried for Kylie too.
True.
Yeah. First, I have to give myself a little bit of props. Excuse me, y'all. Because if you saw our panel a couple days ago with Morgan, I literally said, guys, it's Anastasia. He's got that same Hawaiian shirt on. I remember the promo from before. And then I think Kylie's the messenger and she's going to get caught. Like, listen, I need to check. But no, yeah, I agree with KG. I think Anastasia probably really is there for followers. I know she's like a brand, a content creator and all that kind of stuff, which most people are. But it's, to talk about, yeah. But to talk about it, it's giving very much Brendan and Piper. It's just like, you just don't really like talk about what you're going to get afterwards. You're supposed to just at least pretend that you're there for the right reasons. It's just like not in good taste. So I think, for Kylie to come in, I think Kylie's going to be fine. But I think it'll be a little bit of drama to see like her kind of struggle with like, okay, now I'm kind of worried. I don't want to be the girl that's always bringing him bad news, So it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah. I mean, if she's a content creator and it's her job, like, she wants to know about her followers because that is how she makes her money. And that's like, like she has to get brand deals and she has to make content. And like, it's kind of a part of the game if that's her like literal position. So I get why it's a gamble being on The Bachelor for her if she's not able to like work on her career. She's taking time off from work. So I think that she, her mind probably was just going to that. I don't really think it's fair to like say that. We have to see it play out. But that's my perspective.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get that.
I mean, can I just say that everyone is there for the followers. Everyone's there. I'm sorry, but everyone goes into the show knowing the possibilities. And, and I think real love really does happen on the show, but I think it comes as a surprise. And these relationships we see, especially kind of in the last half of the season, are real. But they got the show called The Bachelor and they're like, oh my goodness, look at all the opportunities I'm going to get. Let's give it a try. People can go in, maybe not for the right reasons, and still fall in love and still catch real feelings. I don't know. That's where I am at. So I don't really give if someone's there for the followers, it's not like, oh, you're a villain now. I just think at least you're being real.
I'm just interested to see it play out because I think it's all about like how you express that. You know what I mean? Because if you're kind of bragging like, yeah, I can't wait till I get off the show. I'm about to get all these followers, girl. It's like, okay, that's like, that says something about you as a person that's just kind of like not cool. Like, so I think we have to see how she moves. But I totally agree with you guys. Like, it's a part of the show at this point. They cast people who have followers. Like the other girl, Victoria J, had like 1 million TikTok followers. This could have been her. You know what I mean? But I think it's just about like how you express that, how you interpret that and talk about it. Because if you're a certain way, it can rub someone wrong and show a kind of a shade of yourself that's not very, it's just not cool, you know?
Yeah.
So
I feel that.
Play it cooler.
Well, before we go, I have a little shared news exclusive Bachelor Nation tease for you guys. Because you brought up Brendan. You brought up, I actually just interviewed Piper for my podcast.
Ooh, how exciting.
Yeah.
Oh, I need to, I can't wait. When does it come out?
I'm not going to put it out for a couple weeks, but I wanted to tell you guys that I got the tea. She gave us the tea. She talked about Brendan.
Wow.
She talked a little bit about Natasha, about her time on Matt's season, about her time on Paradise. She's off contract. Yeah. What do you guys? What would you guys want to know most from Piper?
I'm just like the fact that they're still together. I think all of Bachelor Nation like did not see that coming. So learning kind of more about how they got through that Bachelor in Paradise hate and whirlwind. I mean, I'm not sure if I could do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a tough ride for the two of them. I'm curious to hear her kind of dynamic with Natasha. And kind of just the more grounded version of all that happened and from her perspective. Because of course the show was gonna like really blow it up and but yeah, I'm excited for you that you got to talk to her. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was cool. And I made sure to ask her about I made sure to ask her about the backlash, and we definitely talked about it. And I told her, like, you know, people didn't like you. Like, let's talk about it. So I can't wait to share with you guys a little bit more about that. Let us know if you guys are watching this season and what your thoughts are on The Bachelor and all of these topics we talked about today. Rachel, Zach, Christina Mandrell, Nick. And be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell so you're always updated on all things Bachelor Nation. I'm your host, Zachary Reality, with Kayla G and Kayla T. Our socials are on the screen right now, so be sure to say hi to us, give us follows, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye, Kaylas. Bye, guys.